I like to put the goals at like unachievable, so if you achieve them, then you're, hopefully doing really well. But if they're achievable, then it seems a little too easy. So I think, 10 years, every city in the South, I've seen it. And like the thing that gives me hope is like, there's plenty of companies in Jacksonville that have done it. There's, the Metro Diners, the Maple Streets, the Firehouse Subs sold for what, $1 billion?
They got $1 billion. The Sorensen brothers. Yeah,
that's crazy. Like, and even the Maple Street guys.
That was a good sale.
$34.6 million. Insane. I think that's. I got goosebumps thinking about it. That's a dream that we have. Like we literally I didn't open this business to ever sell it, but if I could grow it to scale like that and doing it with Ecuadorian food. I don't that's success to me.
This is the Yield Coach Show, Season 1, Episode 13. I'm your host, Ian Brown. Every episode we bring you dynamic entrepreneurs, real estate investors, business leaders, and inspirational guests ready to open up, share their story, the good, the bad, the ugly, so you can learn lessons, gain advantages, and accelerate your success. Couple of brief announcements. You should follow Yield Coach on Instagram so you can watch these episodes live. Right now, we are streaming. If you're hearing this in your car, it's already been recorded. But follow us on Instagram. You can comment and ask questions of the guest, and we will do our best to answer them in real time. Also, we're running special pricing on the Employee to Entrepreneur video course. You can get that at yield-coach.com or clicking the link in our Instagram bio. And for all you real estate agents out there, we have a new ebook that I put together, Agent to Investor. It's for real estate agents looking to transition into investment or add investment to their existing brokerage industry. And I have some great tips on scaling and creative structuring that I've used in my own investments. All right, but with no further ado, I am joined by our guests today, Chason Spencer and Maria Mota.
Perfect.
Nailed it. Owners of Chancho King Restaurant. Quick little bio here. Chason and Maria have 20 plus years of combined restaurant experience. Chancho King opened approximately 3 years ago and concentrates on Ecuadorian food. They're the only Ecuadorian restaurant in Jacksonville. They specialize in street food, pork sandwiches, and cater many whole pig events.
Yeah.
They're going to open a new restaurant shortly in the Jacksonville, Florida neighborhood of Murray Hill. And on the real estate side, they have flipped a house. We will learn more and have an income-producing property.
Yeah.
Chason and Maria, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Before we dive in, I see you've brought me a tall craft beer.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and take a moment. What did you bring us today?
Good old tall boy. We got some Ardwolf beer. Right here, I think you got the BPA, which is a Belgian style pale ale. That's their main seller. And then I got a little Hans Lager, one of my favorites. What we drink, while we're there.
Ardwolf is where our trailers is.
Okay, so this is Ardwolf Brewery.
Yep.
Chancho King is attached or a permanent fixture to Ardwolf Brewery in Jacksonville.
Yep. And I liked what Alex and Brock did, where they brought beer or they were talking about it. So I was like, hey, I want to kind of follow on with that suit. So and this is also local, so it made sense.
You know what's fun about this is we're actually recording this at 11 a.m. and I haven't had breakfast. So this beer, I feel like I'm back at Florida State tailgating before the early game.
That's right.
Oh, that is delicious, though. Who needs breakfast? All right, well, let's just start with a little bit of background. Tell us about yourselves, how you met, and how you kind of decided you're going to open up this Ecuadorian food concept.
Well, I moved here when I was like 20 to go to college, and I ended up staying. We met in the Art Institute. That's where we both went to college.
Yep.
I work
signing
at
up for classes, too.
Signing up for classes.
Yeah, that's where you met, signing up
for classes, yeah.
I started working at TPC. I worked there for like about 8 years. Then we started traveling a little bit. Came back, decided that we were going to open this awesome, badass, like fancy restaurant. Realized we don't have any money to do that. So we started working again at TPC and got married. And our honeymoon, we're like, okay, let's just open like a sandwich shop. You know, there's this sandwich place in Ecuador called Don Pepe, which is like pork sandwich stand. It's just sell pork sandwiches. Amazing.
And he's been doing it since her grandfather was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, like he's
so it's one of those
crushing
places, like, yeah. And like in South America, everybody have this version of this pork sandwich.
Yeah.
So we're like, let's do it. We know how to cook pork, and it's one good product. And
Yeah.
we start with a tent.
We started with that. We started with under $2,000. Had almost nothing, selling sandwiches on the side of the road. We would work with a couple friends that would allow us to come and sell at their businesses for private events or just like for the day. Aardwolf was one of them that kind of brought us in pretty early on.
Also, Vagabond was amazing.
Coffee, yeah. And they really helped us out, kind of like get our bearings started, figure out things. We would get an art walk downtown. We do Vagabond Flea and stuff like that, and then build from there. And then as we'll get into it, the flipping of the house is what kind of gave us the next step to buy the trailer and do stuff like that.
Awesome.
And now we're officially at a point where we're allowed to open a brick and mortar. So,
and I'm excited to get to that.
Yeah.
Kind of back to the Genesis. So the Art Institute, is that the one that was off like Bay Meadows Way?
Yeah, it closed already.
Yeah, by the law school. My law school closed too. So
yeah,
it's,
it was right next to it.
that corridor is cursed.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Florida Coastal.
It's crazy because we met some really good friends out of it. Though, like, there's some really I think
good
successful
cooks, yeah.
people, good cooks that have come out of there. It's just I don't know what happened, in the background.
It was a financial situation.
But we definitely met some cool people.
Nice. So when you literally met like registering for classes at the Art Institute.
It was my senior semester, my last semester, and I think she had 1 year to go. But like, we just caught in the hallway, and then was literally like, I was like, hey, like, yeah, typical me. I'm like, hey, where are you from? And then I have an accent. She's like, Ecuador, and I have an adopted brother from Ecuador. And she made the same face when I told her, and then she was like, "I don't believe you," kind of deal. Like, well, I don't know what's going on. And then I was just like, "No, really." And I started showing pictures, and we started talking. And then I was like, "Hey, like let's link up." Funny enough, I gave her the wrong phone number on accident.
I was saying not on purpose.
No, absolutely not. And I'm like, man, I'm kind of losing my mind, like, and I was like, all right, well, let me, waited a week, and I was like, well, we met last week on this day, so maybe she'll be here again. And then I found her, and I was like, and then literally we both skipped class and stayed and talked for like 6+ hours, and then from that moment on, boom.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of good relationships begin. You meet, and then boom, you gotta like clear a day or a whole night and just talk for 3,
I remember
4, 5,
seeing
6
my
hours.
teacher after missing that class, and he gave me the meanest look, just like, because I wasn't one to skip classes. I was always pretty like punctual and doing my work.
Yeah.
But I was just like, hey man, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Met my future person. So
I'm smitten.
yeah,
Love struck.
exactly.
Nothing wrong with that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. So you meet. Now you were going into culinary. Did you before you met? Did you have any idea you're going to go into like a Latin or South American? I don't want to say it wrong, but like that kind of cuisine.
Negative. No,
okay. I'm just curious. What were you thinking about doing?
I think the business. So we had to build a restaurant in college from scratch.
Like our pop
our big
Yeah.
project that we had to do to like graduate, and I think it was a Italian Japanese fusion restaurant. Which in my head now I'm like, what was I thinking? Like I don't know.
Thank God I met Maria.
I have no connection to that personally. I would have like it would have been really weird and probably failed. To be honest, but it's a learning process. You're just making a thing that's all hypothetical, so you just do it. But I think I told you recently. I was like, I never thought I would be opening a Ecuadorian restaurant. Never did it cross my mind. But then when we lived there, I was like, I love this culture. I love the food. I love everything about it. So it just makes sense. Like I'm already passionate about it, and I like teaching people about it. So it's just why not keep going with it.
And I can speak. It is damn good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We went to TPC right before COVID, so that means you guys would have been.
We were there.
Yeah. So if you're 3 years, that was probably that initial
year,
12 months.
Oh, yeah.
So we go to Aardwolf after the TPC golf tournament, and we
Yeah.
were well lubricated.
Oh, yeah.
But we were
Yeah.
going to the brewery, and we got your pork sandwich on the
And
way
we were
in.
like a little table, like a
Yeah,
little
that was when we were in
yeah.
the tent. Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing, and so it's just kind of cool that through our producer and past guests we were able to pull this off.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump in. You guys you're a couple. You're you got this concept you want to do, kind of from Maria's background. It sounds like you're like
Yeah.
multi-generational in
Yeah.
this food type.
Yeah, a lot of our food is literally my grandma's stuff, which is an amazing cook. They both are like
One of the best
one
cooks
of the
that I
sweet
know.
sides and one
Yeah.
of like a, but yeah, I have all her food in my truck and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually, like when
So
we're
it's
looking
mostly
for,
family recipes.
Yeah.
When we're looking
pretty
for new
much.
recipes, or
Literally,
we're
the
looking
pork is all Chason. The pork is all Chason. Like I think this version of a sandwich, because it's like slightly different than their classic sandwich. I think this sandwich is it's a better version, per se.
I always say, like, when we make our pork, I just say I want the bone to be seasoned. That's how flavorful I want it to be.
Gotcha.
I want it to be flavorful through and through. I want you to taste it and go like, wow, like holy moly. Like I didn't think pork could taste like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like we nail it for the most part. You can't say we're perfect, but literally we haven't had one bad thing said about our pork sandwich. So I'll eat one 5 days a week, 6 days a week if I have to. Like
It must be good for you. You're lean and mean.
It is. It's amazing, and I'm never upset. Every time I eat one, I'm like, I analyze it, but I'm always like the last bite. I'm like, man, that was so freaking good.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, it really is.
God, beer before lunch, and we haven't had anything. We might have to go there immediately after this. After
We
this
might have to go
episode.
make a sandwich.
All right, so let's just kind of follow your narrative. You guys get together. I know from our discussion before we started airing, you bought a home in Murray Hill. You did was the flip before that. Let's jump into some of the entrepreneurial things you had to do and some of the risks you had to take to be able to fund your endeavor.
Yeah, when we got into this was well before the pandemic. My father passed away, and he actually owned a house in Murray Hill too. And when he passed away, he left me his house. So we instantly just kind of turned that into a rental because I was like, I'm a big fan of passive income. I think it's the way that you retire early.
You save yourself.
And you save yourself a lot of trouble because, and honestly, in our industry, I don't know for other industries, but we don't get paid a lot. So having that just really helped us kind of move forward in life, and just like keep the bills paid and still be able to like risk, do a lot of risk things in our business.
Amen.
Yeah, and so that happened. We actually never pulled any mortgage out of it. It's paid off. It's completely mortgage free, and I just took it as income for the year. And I always put our friends in there, which was really nice because I never really had to worry about the tenant.
You must have good friends.
They're all in the industry.
Yeah,
too,
they're all in the industry.
It works.
And everybody that lived in there, they usually work 12, 13 hours a day. So their house is always really clean. There's no real problems. And like the guy that lives there now, his family is like all tradesmen. So anything goes wrong, he's just calling his family and says, "Hey, can you come? Like my AC's down. Can you come fix this?" And like they'll charge me a fraction of the cost of what you would do to call anybody.
They're the best tenants ever.
Oh my gosh,
it's kind of funny because a
Amazing.
lot of people in real estate, there's some conventional wisdom not to rent to your friends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
yes, most people tell us that's
Yeah,
bad.
well, and so here's what you'll hear a lot is, your friends and family might take more advantage of you. It's counterintuitive
Yeah.
than just like a stranger that
Yeah.
you just vet.
Yeah.
Maybe the stranger's actually afraid of you and your friends and family are not. But you guys have had, even
We
the
had
tradesmen
luck.
coming.
We
That's
had
awesome.
luck. Yeah,
I think we're
luck.
fortunate
Yeah.
in saying though that like we also give a very competitive rent price. Like ours is very well. Like we could charge way more.
But see, like you save yourself $200 a month though, and the house breaks all the time.
Yeah.
It's about
Owning
Yeah.
properties.
It's about
when things break all the time, it's coming out of your pocket. And we've saved thousands of dollars just by having our friend in there because he's able to like either fix it himself or he can call his family to fix it.
Yeah.
And that alone pays off. Charging him a couple extra $100. And I would rather do that all day.
I like that approach. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Your repairs and maintenance is often, depending on how old the property is, it can run 20% of your expenses. It kind of depends on the vintage, but having somebody come in and do all that stuff on the cheap is wonderful.
Absolutely.
All right, so you've got the free and clear property.
Yep. Then we decided in 2019,
Yeah, so we got back. So before that, we left to Europe for like a whole year. We traveled a whole year.
We traveled, yeah.
We quit our jobs and left and worked in Michelin stars and went here and then South America.
Lived off our credit cards, did the fun
Got in
jazz.
debt, lots in debt, and sold our cars, and then came back.
Yeah. Came back and that's
The music stopped.
Yeah.
All right, we got to make some money again.
yes, yeah, and then we both
We're
just,
very fortunate, we're coming back to a secure job.
Yeah.
We're really, I like to say, we're really good cooks, and we just, whatever we want to work with, we're able to,
Yeah. And as I was saying right before we started was like, when I was younger, my mom gave me the advice to buy a home rather than rent it. And it was probably one of the best advice I've ever gotten in terms of like real estate. Buying when you're young so that you can, by the time you're old enough to actually properly buy a house, you have that mortgage kind of already paid off. I bought a really low price. We bought in Murray Hill in 2014. It was about $42,000.
Oh yeah.
And it was a fixer upper. Luckily, my dad at the time he was general contractor, so he knew how to do everything. Like we built it all ourselves, And I think because of that, and we had a roommate that I had lived with me since the day we moved in. Like we actually all, when we were going to buy houses, searching for a house, he was with us. Like he was going to be my roommate no matter what. And I think because of that, we were able to travel because we didn't have to come back and find a home and everything.
Yeah,
When we came back,
yeah,
we had
yeah,
our stuff already. You know, everything was good to go. He took care of the house. I mean, that was the time of Irma, so actually the roof got broken and the ceiling fell out while we were gone. But we had friends and family in place to help fix everything and stuff. It was crazy.
Just a point of clarification: you bought this place in 14, then went to Europe.
Yeah, we went to Europe in 16.
Okay,
Or
great.
17, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2017.
So you got the free and clear rental.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dad.
Yeah.
And then you got your home in 14.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then that kind of freed you up if you were to, you know, obviously you got
that's
to run
when
some
we
credit.
Yeah,
But go,
we
Yeah,
just
yeah.
left, and then came back and
Came back, refinanced, you know, because we had
Refinanced,
such a little mortgage. It really didn't matter.
Yeah.
The only thing was proving income, but because we hadn't been paid it all year, it was like
it was
Traveling
super
Europe.
fun.
they're kind of looking
yeah.
at us like, what is this like? You know, you don't make any money, and we're like, yeah, but we will.
you know, like, look at all this equity.
Yeah, just take it from the house. You know?
Yeah, we refinanced. We bought a house in Hillcrest.
And Hillcrest in off Lakeshore.
Is this the flip?
This
Yeah,
is
that's
the
All
flip.
right, I wanted to hear about this. So
Yeah.
I do kind of want to structure and frame this part because I'm curious. I like to hear about the first time flipper. So, how'd you find it?
Yeah.
And I can remind you. How'd you fund it?
Yeah.
What'd you do to it? And how did you exit? So let's start with how'd you find it?
Zillow.
Okay.
Funny enough.
Back when you could find a deal on Zillow?
Yeah, it was weird.
We were driving a lot around.
We were driving,
trying
but
to
like it
find
was
a
one of
flip.
those that like I just got an email from Zillow. I happened to look at it and it said just popped on the market. And I think I called the real estate agent that we were looking because we were actually actively looking for a flip house. You know, like we were trying. We had
It was a completely flip house.
yeah,
though.
yeah,
Like it was
it
not
was-
like, oh, use a floor. No, like it was like a tear apart.
Yeah.
I should have asked this earlier. How did you decide you wanted to flip? I mean, you're already traveling Europe. You're kind of, I can tell you're a little ambitious
yeah.
already.
We are very
ambitious. That's a good word.
Yeah, ambitious, yes.
That's a good word.
we jump in stuff sometimes.
I believe in the fact that you do have to spend money to make money.
that's
And especially in real estate when, you know, well, they're saying
We
goes,
don't know anything
you buy it
about
for
real
50,
estate,
put
though.
50 into it, sell it for 150. You know, like that's, you know, so you make that extra out of it. We bought for 65, put 85 into it and sold it for 180. So we still made money, but not that much.
Yeah.
I wish we would have definitely not been so naive, I guess you could say. We took, you know, so we when we got into it, it looked like it had good bones. I was like, okay, it's got a good roof. AC needs to be replaced. Floors are okay. Foundation was okay. We didn't like get into walls because you don't do that until you really get into it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of our, you know, the big mix up there.
Our problems was like all the permits.
Yeah, so then
Okay.
we got
Was
some
like-
bad advice from contractors that we hired initially, and they said we didn't need to get permits, and
And these were like general contractors?
these were just like contractors, like they were just like construction men, people that we had, you know, found and hired, and
Again, very naive on them. We were like,
Yeah.
oh, we
Yeah,
don't know
yeah.
anything.
We-
We thought it was like, oh, it's gonna take us 3 months. We're done, like, or like max 6 months. It
Yeah.
took us.
Like, I've already seen this episode on HGTV.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
going to nail it.
Yeah.
and but it took us 18 months. We were at a standstill for 6 months straight,
Yeah.
just because, you know.
At the same time, we're working full time.
We just started Chancho King.
We just started Chancho, and we were very busy. And our
Yeah.
time off, we were like going into the house and like doing whatever we needed to do.
So you got to stop. I'm assuming if you had to stop, you probably got a city big bright
No, we
orange
never
stop
got
work order.
We never got the stop work order.
Okay.
Because I was like, the inspector never knew that I was the one that was kind of overseeing everything, but I was always the one that would try and, you know, work with her, and she would show up and just see one thing wrong and fail the whole inspection. She wouldn't go through the whole entire place. So we had a really hard time going back and forth because there was, like I said, we were both working. I had 2 full-time jobs. I was Chancho and TPC. She was full-time TPC, and then Chancho where she could help. And it would be really hard to catch her, like when she would come inspect, because they don't really let you know. I didn't have the time to sit there all day. So she would come in, fail one thing, and then I would call and be like, hey, what's this? She said, oh, you got to fix this. Okay, I'll fix that. Comes back, fails one more thing. So then we're going back and forth for 6 months, literally, just like, fix this, fix that, fix this. I was like, and then finally, I just called her and was like, can you just meet me there? Can we just do a walkthrough and just go through everything?
Yeah.
And we actually, at that point, we had hired a general contractor. He had, pulled all the permits and everything. And we were trying to do the right thing. And that's what I approached her as, is like, hey, I'm not trying to do the wrong thing. I know I'm the money guy, and I know we're the ones that are doing it. It's GC, whatever. But like, I want to do the right thing. I want you to know I'm not trying to mess you around. I'm not trying to run you around and waste your time. So can you just give me a full list of things? I'll knock it out. You'll come back. Hopefully you'll pass us, hopefully. And we actually hit it off really well. Like she was very friendly with me. She was really nice. I was fine. But in the background, I'm pulling my hair out because I'm like, we got to get this house off of our lap. It's taken way too long. I've worked 6 months straight without a day off.
Still, at the end of it still help us, right? Like we still make some money.
Yeah.
All right, so let's jump into that. So I cut you off there. How'd you fund it? See, I know how you found it on Zillow. How'd you fund it?
We took a loan. Took a loan for family.
Family and friends.
Family and friends, yeah.
Okay.
And basically we had some cash in our pocket already from when we refinanced in previous.
Okay.
Just waiting on
Refi,
that.
friends and family.
Yeah.
And then just a quick breakdown of what you have to do. Roof, plumbing, electric, HVAC, floor plan, like what?
Electric, HVAC, plumbing. So we really and then once we started opening walls, we found an entire wall was completely rotted out.
Like termites or WDO or something.
Yeah, it was just wood rot. Yeah. And then, in these old homes in Murray Hill and Hillcrest and that kind of area, that's prone to happen. That just happened with our rental. Then we actually converted it from a 3.2 to a 4.3.
Oh.
So we added an extra bedroom and an extra value to the house. And it actually, I think that's what helped us get the sale that we wanted to, because even when we
4.2, not 4.3.
Yeah. Oh, 4.2. Yeah. And when we initially reached out to the real estate agent that we used, she was like, oh, it's a bad area. I don't know if you're going to get this price for it. And she walks in, she goes, oh my gosh, like, I am very mistaken. She was like, literally just like baffled. She was like, you have really done a good job on this house. I was like, I literally went through every single, trim and grout line and everything and did it by hand by myself. I purposely went through every single thing. There's not a single gap in this place that you can imagine. And after all the inspections that we got, it was strapped for a Category 7 hurricane. That thing
the only house left in Jacksonville.
It wasn't going anywhere. So it was like, I was like, all right, well, we got this. I felt a lot more comfortable. She came in, she did the staging, and within a week, not cash offer. We actually we went through the VA for the buyer. But at that time, we were the most expensive house on the street in the neighborhood, and that that's a huge statement because one of our best friends lived right next door, so he always kept eyes on us. But it also gave him an additional $50,000 in equity in his house when we sold, so he was happy,
thrilled.
And
you're improving the neighborhood.
Yep,
a new comp. So and just for the real estate entrepreneurial part of the audience. I understand how it works out, like pulling money out of your other house on the refi. With the friends and family, were they doing like a fixed interest rate, or was it some kind of a profit share? How did you structure that?
It was a profit share.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we just
they kind of ride the risk with you.
Yeah, and we just split it up at the end.
Okay.
And we split it three ways, and then we took and paid off all the credit cards that we had built up.
We paid all that after that.
All the debt's gone
after that.
Yeah,
right?
The only thing we had left was our mortgage, which currently we still have. That's the only debt we have.
Which is like
pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then we took $50,000 and put it into Chancho. And
so this flip is going to be part of the story, the funding Chancho.
Yeah, that was specifically to fund Chancho.
And that was the idea all along. Yeah. It was like the entire time I said, okay.
Obviously to get a trailer, not a restaurant, because you can do anything.
Yeah. So this is how we bought the trailer. This is how we bought a lot of the equipment for the commissary kitchen that we use. We bought a proper, we bought a proper cooler. We bought a chip slicer, two ovens, those kind of things. Yeah.
So we're going to transition from things that I know well, like real estate, into things that I don't. So, and I think a lot of the audience probably doesn't know much about food trucks and commissary kitchens. What do things cost? How do people fund it? All right, so let's jump into launching Chancho here. You've got your money from the flip. You've paid off all your debts. You have some cash.
Yeah.
What do you have to buy? What do things cost?
Well, first, when we were a pop-up business, we had to use a commissary. Mm-hmm. which we pay what 420 a month.
Yeah.
And what is a commissary is like? Is like a ghost kitchen? Is that the same thing?
I know it's
Or
not
not?
a ghost
It's like a
kitchen.
place for other people to come to and cook.
So
And
I
then-
say like the people make
communal
kombucha,
kitchen.
Yeah.
goes there. People make like little things to sell in markets. Everybody goes there, right?
It was like the owner of Kilwins. It was his kitchen.
Yeah.
And he also had like storage there and stuff, and
Yeah.
did some stuff there. But like,
Okay.
there's like multiple companies that do retail or stuff like that. They'll come in and they'll cook there, and then they'll take it out
Yeah.
wherever they sell it.
So, for those of us who don't know, if we see a food truck, they're slinging food. Is not all the food's prepared in the truck, right? So you go to the
Yeah.
commissary kitchen, and you get
Yeah.
your
A lot of the food
supplies
trucks,
going.
there is a food like a parking thing that they rent.
Food
and
Truck City.
Food
Yeah.
Truck City, they have a commissary there.
Yeah.
So all these food trucks are prepping in their commissary.
Yep.
There. They don't like that's included in the rent where they park the trucks.
A lot
But
of it that
we are a stationary truck. We don't move.
Yeah.
We keep it at our wolf.
Yeah.
Right? Our intention wasn't to be a food truck. Our intention is having a restaurant. We just don't have money for it, so we.
So we bought a kitchen, a single kitchen, and then we
Yeah.
just cook out of that kitchen. Like we don't. That's why it was never. We never bought the trailer with the idea that we wanted to pull it around. We
You
bought
knew
it.
you wanted to park it.
We knew we wanted
Yeah,
to
we
park
just want to
100%.
grow our
Yeah.
people. It takes a lot more
Yeah.
time, but
I wanted to build a presence here in San Marco. Ardwolf, like the way things fell in line. Like we actually moved into Ardwolf before we even had the trailer, but the idea was there. I think we opened in Ardwolf within 5 days. Like they put out an Instagram message. It was like, hey, we're looking for a full-time food vendor. When COVID was like really bad, and they were saying breweries to open needed to have a food vendor to become a restaurant. They put a statement out and was like, hey, we want a food vendor. I kind of waited a week. I think I don't know how long I waited, just to see. I don't even know why. Maybe I'm just procrastinating or whatever. But then I finally messaged Praven, the owner, and was like, hey, I was wondering if you found anybody. And he literally instantly
He
responded
said,
back.
"We're
And he
always
goes,
waiting for you."
"We were waiting for you to text me." And I was like, "Oh shit,
Yeah.
Perfect.
that's awesome." Yeah, I was
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
"Okay, this fell exactly how we wanted to." And then I met with him. I think even that day, and was like, "Yeah, we can do this." I wasn't afraid at all. I was just like, "Yeah, we can do this. No problem. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. But I'm gonna do it."
Did you have the truck yet?
Nope,
No.
no
Okay,
truck.
because
No
you
truck.
were in the actual brewery in the beginning.
Yeah,
So
we just had.
to open the truck, we also have to pass all these permits and everything.
Not your specialty.
No.
No,
Well, with the truck, we did our homework.
yeah.
Yeah.
We were like, no, we're not gonna do this again.
We get along with the health inspector really well.
Then
I've
what
I've never failed a single health inspection.
Yeah.
I same thing. I walk into every inspection and I say, hey, if I do something wrong, it's because I don't know. We want to do the right thing all the time, but I'm just going by my knowledge. And if I'm wrong, just tell me and I'll fix it right now. And I think that's a good approach to take to any inspector, because they if they see red flags, then they start really going into it, And I'm sure even in the real estate business, once one red flag is said, generally there's more.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
'Cause they've already failed you on one thing. A lot of times,
They're looking for it then.
Mm-hmm.
and I won't go back to real estate right
Yeah,
now,
sure.
but it's
Yeah.
like sometimes you'll have a small city where they only have a single inspector, and so so take Jacksonville for instance, large city, many inspectors,
Yeah.
and they'll inspect per trade. So the plumbing inspector doesn't come in looking at your electric or looking at your HVAC
Yeah.
or wondering who's fixing the roof.
Yeah.
It's not their job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you get into some smaller jurisdictions and it's
they look at it all.
yeah, they're like, "Oh, I'm here for the new water heater," but while I'm here, my eyes are wandering.
I
So
believe that.
I get it. Okay, so rough numbers. What does it cost to buy a food truck? Get it going.
Starting at start with 25K, and that's very minimal. Like I said, we built some stuff ourselves. We had some equipment already. I think in total we put to date, I think we've put about 30,000 into it. But I've called
At
some
the beginning, we didn't know.
at the beginning. Yeah, this is a
Close
little
to
bit
the
over
beginning,
time.
we did.
I think I called some of the the custom builders. Like there's one out of Orlando, and I told him our budget, and he kind of laughed at me. He was like, "No, you're gonna have to double that." And I was like, "I think you're incorrect, but thank you for your time. I'm gonna figure this out myself." And we did. I went on Facebook Marketplace. I was looking everywhere to find a trailer, and we went on Facebook Marketplace and found this company down in Miami. And they had a floor model that they were putting up, and it was right on our budget. Had some equipment in it, and I went for it. We went for
We
it.
just had to drive it back to Miami to Jacksonville.
Is it a trailer or drivable?
Trailer.
It's a trailer.
Trailer. And what does it have in it? Is it? What
It's
do you
got
get?
a fryer. Well, it came with a fryer, a hood, a 3-compartment system. It came with all of the aspects to get passed by the inspector.
Okay.
You know, like
so
all
you could
the,
cook out of it once you bought it. Like it had enough.
Yeah, it had enough. We put a stove into it because I think a takeaway from that is I don't know if there's any food food truck that want like owners or want to be owners. If you can buy it all complete.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would say. Is like
it's measured for their stuff.
it was more of a headache to put the stuff in ourselves and find people to come and work because at that time COVID was heavy.
We're trying to save a buck by doing that.
Yeah,
right? By
and we
doing,
ended up
like,
spending more.
Yeah.
A common problem for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I can't afford that. I'll do it myself.
Yeah.
Oops, it took longer
Yeah.
and cost more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes longer time you're not open, longer time you don't make money. Yeah.
Mind you, we're still an open business. We're still running. And have no time to actually do it as well. So I'm making time in the time that I have. And you don't want to close for too long because then you're losing money. So it was just like, all right, I 100%. If I could, the only thing I would do if I would go back is I would just have them do it all, and then pay them that, and then realizing that I would have saved myself.
And it may be $50,000-$60,000.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing. You said it would be about double.
Yeah.
So we bought the trailer with the equipment that it came around. Well, how much was it? 12?
It was like 22, 23.
22, yeah.
But that came with a fryer. Like it came with a fryer. It came with 2 fridges. The hood system and the fire ansel system, the 3-compartment sink, a couple extinguishers,
Water heater,
gray water tank, portable water tank. So like I said, the main stuff to get you going, and then we put in a couple more equipment.
We put a chest freezer,
Yeah.
Slow cook oven, stove,
yeah.
and
then like now I put like toolboxes in there that are hanging from
like
the wall
shelves,
and stuff like that for shelving.
I think you run out of square footage pretty quickly.
You really do. Yeah. That little
like
steel
it's
box.
very like we have to be very like super duper organized.
Yeah.
Like everything goes to the same place every time.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
we're like very.
Yeah, you never realize how
from
quick
that.
you run out of space because in a big kitchen you're just like, oh yeah, I got
Yeah.
I can put things everywhere, and then there you're like, you realize how dirty you are too. You like because it's so small, you see your mess 10 times. You know,
Yeah.
You
like,
just gotta
over
be
and
very
over.
clean, very organized, all the time.
Yeah.
If I ever did a food truck, I'd have to do it with my wife because she's like the Marie Kondo. I'm not that bad. You know what I mean? I'm not like a total clutter bug, but I tend to hang on to stuff, and
it is,
I might need it for later. I
We're,
can't get away with that.
we're like that. We're just like training our guys, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're like they take it. They're very prideful of what they believe in what we're doing. I think I like to think
Everybody that we've
Yeah.
hired so far believes in our concept, believes in us, believes in our concept. Even if like
we haven't yet made money per se, because like everything that comes in we still put in.
Reinvest.
we put it right back in.
Yeah.
Like we'll taking off to like pay our stuff, and then pay our employees, and then whatever you always need something.
But like our one full-time guy, he had 0 kitchen experience, and he started last May, and by I don't know, before the end of the year, he was able to run the trailer by himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like we went on a vacation for 2 weeks in February, and he ran the entire trailer by himself with our other 2 employees, but killed it. Like they were busier when we were gone on vacation than we were when we were there. And I was like,
Once you got out of the way.
of course. I was like, once we're out of the country, of course we get busier, and I can't be there to help. But I just gave full faith. I would ask randomly, like, you okay? You're good? Any problems? No? Okay, awesome. Like, good to go. And that was it. It was.
We
it
keep
was
getting
incredible.
sidetracked. So
Like we should travel more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should. That's what
Yeah.
I said. I was like, we can like leave for like every year.
Yeah.
You already did that. Remember?
Yeah.
No.
I think we're past that.
It's okay. You can do it again. But let's move into okay. So you got the food truck. It's banging along. You've had it for 3 years at Ardwolf Brewery in San Marco in Jacksonville. Let's jump into this new endeavor.
Yeah.
Was obviously an expansion.
Yeah.
In Murray Hill. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. It was. It's the old community Lowe's. Then
We've been looking for a place for a while.
Just a quick interjection. They're looking for their first brick and mortar real restaurant location.
Brick and mortar. Yeah, we have it. We signed a lease. We're meeting with the architect pretty much after we leave here, and like Maria was saying, having a restaurant is something we've always wanted since we started the business.
We were at some point we were like even looking for I just need a commissary. Like I don't even need a restaurant. Like I just need a kitchen that I can cook our catering and cook the food for the trailer. Because right now our commissary is the Vagabond Roastery, and it's not like it's perfect for what we do right now, but it's not ideal. Like whatever prep we do takes us 10 times more because it's not equipped for like a full-on kitchen.
Yeah.
So we were looking for anything and everything and anything, but we couldn't find anything. And then like a friend was working in the
Garden truck.
And he's like, hey, I'm thinking they might be leaving. We're not hunting on them, but we're like kind of like, circling the restaurant.
Oh, you were hunting.
Yeah, we were hunting.
Yeah.
100%. I was like, I don't want you to close, but
if you do.
But if you do, yeah. And they're like, it's funny because at some point we offered them. I was like, what if we shared like the kitchen? Like I pay rent and we share the kitchen, and that way you stay open and I just use your kitchen. But they're hardcore vegans.
100% vegan.
And
we're a pork business.
Yeah,
That's
I was
a
like,
problem.
that's not gonna work out.
Yeah. We both agreed right away that wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
When we met with him the first time, and this was in December of 2021, I led off with that. I was like, hey, we're a pork business. I don't know if you'd ever be inclined with moving in with us or we can work together. And right away, no. I was like, okay, glad we set the precedent there. I won't bring that back up.
Go ugly early.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want them to be like, of course you can move in, we'll work something out, and then I'll be like, hey, we bring in whole pigs once a month.
We're just also we're ready to move. Like, I freaking love Vagabond and everybody there, but we just ready. We're ready to
growing.
not share space. We're growing fast.
Outside of that.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So this new place, I remember Community Loaves. I know it went around the corner, and I haven't been in like their new deal.
New spot is awesome.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. But I know exactly where you're going, right there on Edgewood Avenue, between Mayflower and Post.
Yep.
Or closer to the Mayflower part of Edgewood, closer to the first block. I guess it'd be the second block.
Yeah.
All right, roughly the square footage. What do you have there?
1567.
Nice. It probably feels huge compared to a
huge
200 square foot.
It almost
trailer.
feels a little too big.
Yeah.
But we haven't the floor plan that we put together. It's very spacious with the idea that we can grow a little bit, and also I've been in too many places that it's too tight. And I like that we're giving ourselves that room because then we can continue to grow in the space rather than get into it right away and be like, all right, we instantly need more space.
Instantly maxed out.
Yeah.
And you have a rear courtyard patio.
Yeah, we learned about that on our first initial walkthrough. We had no idea about it.
Yeah.
And then we go back and she was like, yeah, let's show you the patio. And I went,
patio.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We just landed something. This is crazy.
Yeah. It's a lot of work to be done,
Yeah.
by doing everything right.
Yeah.
But it's gonna get done.
Yeah. No, it is.
A lot of people underestimate the difficulty as a commercial tenant working with the architects, life safety plans, if there's a change
we're
in
trying
use,
to get
if there's
every
alcohol.
permit before we even start. 'Cause
Yeah. We're doing all of that. That's
We
what,
learn with the
meeting
permits
today
again.
is deciding that, basically, is okay, we're, we need to get all the city is asking us for the full architectural drawings, life safety plan, because they were different. I guess they weren't restaurants beforehand. Like Community Loves is a bakery, so that's a different set of rules. Garden Truck was a meal prep, so that's a different set of rules. And then we're actually putting in a restaurant where guests are going to sit down and eat with us.
Yeah, I guess they were going through the apartment agriculture before.
Yeah, we have ADA we have to comply with because people are going to be inside. So we're changing the entire bathroom, changing plumbing.
Are you fire sprinkled already?
No.
Do you have to?
No.
Okay, good. I bought a building down at the beach on Valentine's Day.
Nice.
And it's a 4-unit going from office to Airbnb, and I've got to fire sprinkle it.
Yeah.
And I'm doing life safety. I'm doing full architectural rendering, and it was over 10% of my total rehab budget is going into drawings, but it's okay. So let's go back to you guys. You don't have to sprinkle it. You're doing the ADA. You got the courtyard. Are you going to do alcohol?
Yes.
We're going to open with beer and wine.
Yeah.
Later on, try to file for alcohol.
Okay.
I think there is a specialty variance that we can get for liquor license, but initially we just said let's start with beer and wine because it's the easiest one to get. Yeah. And then work towards that because liquor licenses, that's a big commitment.
It is. And so you're going to have you're working towards the beer and wine.
We're open with beer and wine, and then we'll see what we can do.
Absolutely.
Okay. And are you having to work with the city for the beer and wine?
Yes, we have to go before the planning committee and tell them what we'd like to do. And
we haven't started anything.
Have a hearing. Our lawyer is setting up all this. Okay. He basically is just getting everything in line so that when we get our COU, then we can just do all that.
Yeah. So we met with the owner of Taqueria Cinco.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, you need to do this, that. This is a lawyer.
A mentor.
Yeah,
exactly.
100%.
He's an awesome guy.
Awesome guy. I was like, so you guys don't get screwed over. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because, again, naive. We're not going to do the same thing that we did with the house.
Yeah. I'm gonna utilize we have other friends that are also they have either open restaurants, been in the restaurant industry forever. Even my own mom, she's a pediatrician, but she ran her practice for 30 years, kept employees for 30 years. So I use her as a lot for mentorship and hey, how do you do this? And she may not know. She's even admitted I don't know anything about the restaurant industry, but I do know about business. And I instantly, if I have one question, I go right to her.
Excellent.
And I'm and then when we get into if we get into COUs and stuff like that, I just start reaching out to all of our friends. The
ones that open restaurants.
The ones that open restaurants. Yeah. And we say hey, what did you do for this? How did you get through this? Who did you talk to?
So we talked a lot with Scott Alters, and we talked a lot with Ed, and that they help us a lot.
Scott from Rue, Scott and Gabby from Rue St. Martin.
Excellent.
Yeah.
My apologies.
And so it's probably the architect. Wondering where's that deposit?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I'm quite familiar with that process, and I wish you guys the best. And
I hope it's smooth.
I'll probably have to disclose this as ex parte communication, but it's okay because I sit on planning commission, so you guys have come through. But no, I think a lot of things have come through there and done well. Yeah. So, all right. So, what's your anticipated opening for the Murray Hill location?
I'd love to say June as an optimistic bet. To just get in the kitchen. I know the dining room will be ready by then, but just to get in the kitchen. But I think dining room, realistically, is going to be August.
Yeah. And will you keep the truck?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
So the Ardwell truck is there, and this
is
an addition. It's a big addition.
Yeah. This is a restaurant / commissary kitchen for the truck.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yep. So now you don't need the commissary is on Edgewood. It's your own restaurant.
We have a walk-in cooler there. It's awesome.
We have a very it had good bones. It had a walk-in. We have to fix it, but it has a hood, has a grease trap. We saved $40,000 just before we got into it because we didn't have to do that full build out. It has fireproof walls. It has has the answer system. So all that adds up really quickly when you don't have the budget to do all that.
So you're picking a market where you live, which helps, and you already have momentum coming off of having your truck at Ardwell for 3 years.
Yeah, and we worked at Backbone. We had a pop-up there for almost the whole pandemic.
Yeah, it started
a lot of Murray Hill people already know.
Yeah, I like the market you have selected. I'm a big fan of Murray Hill. Good.
Murray Hill's awesome. It really is. It's such a good neighborhood.
It's been very hard to. So we're deciding we're gonna sell a rental house.
Yeah, that's how we're gonna fund the restaurant. Is selling the rental.
Take some pressure off.
Yep.
Yeah, we're gonna do a loan. The rental is giving us problems, so we're
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't because of all the projects we have going on. It was just smart to sell the rental which still has no mortgage, and just take those proceeds and put it back into the restaurant. We have a 6 month old today.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Boy or girl?
Boy.
All right.
Sebastian.
Yeah.
I love that.
So we're gonna put a little money aside for him for his future and stuff like that, and basically just kind of give ourselves a safety buffer so that we can get through the opening of the restaurant and not have to worry about it per se, and not have to put ourselves in a boatload of debt again because our main goal is to get ourselves out of debt. I think that's the main, I don't know, being young and not having debt is kind of incredible because it allows us to live a lifestyle without, being buried into needing a specific amount of income.
Project, we can, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good lesson because I think we live in a more than ever such a materialistic age, and a part of it is I know I'm streaming this on social media right now, but there's pros and cons because you see all this clickbait, and especially if you follow entrepreneurial accounts or investor accounts or even celebrity accounts, you're like, man, it makes you feel like you don't have enough. You should buy more. It gets you to spend more, but it's a trap. It's a debt trap.
Yeah, they make it seem too easy.
Yeah, and so you guys, I applaud you for recognizing that early. You're young, you're ambitious. I know I said that earlier, and you've learned. Actually, Thomas Jefferson used to talk about this. He was a real anti-debt guy.
Yeah,
I'm pro investment debt.
Yeah,
but
same as Chess. I'm an anti-debt. I'm terrified.
But consumer debt is really the enemy.
Yeah.
Don't
100%.
Finance depreciating assets.
I don't believe in buying an expensive car.
Well, they always said don't use your own money for your own business. But I was like, what else? Nobody's gonna give me a loan right now because I'm working for myself. So it's quite hard to prove our numbers. And
in the future, you may be able to get a nice
low
interest.
Exactly. Once I prove
SBA or not SBA,
better
some
number.
kind of business loan.
Exactly. Yeah.
But in terms of moving quickly, I don't know. I don't like people dictating my own future. So I like that's why it was kind of a safety net having the rental, and I knew if we ever got in this position, we could just sell it and take the proceeds, and then that were. I can control how we're moving forward. I don't have to rely on somebody to tell me, oh, I can only give you this amount, and then I have to work on it. I don't know. I just think it's we
literally decided like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
That
It was very quickly.
Because we were talking the loan, and then we found some stuff with the house. I was like, let's sell it.
Yeah.
The
risk was keep the rental and make minimal monthly income, passive income, and put ourselves into a debt, or sell the asset and not have any debt. And
hopefully we have more income with the business.
Yeah, and hopefully the business takes off the way we want it to,
Yeah.
and then we'll easily make that back. It's
risky, but
Well, then you can grow your portfolio again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or when you did your entry information, I saw you wanted to have a Chancho King in every major southern city. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
to do that, and I'm sure you put that down in good faith, to do that, you're going to need to take a real run at this location.
Yeah.
Now you'll have two, and that will give you scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's 100%. I like to put the goals at like unachievable, so if you achieve them, then you're, hopefully doing really well. But if they're achievable, then it seems a little too easy. So I think, 10 years, every city in the South, I've seen it. And like the thing that gives me hope is like, there's plenty of companies in Jacksonville that have done it. There's, the Metro Diners, the Maple Streets, the Firehouse Subs sold for what, $1 billion?
They got $1 billion. The Sorensen brothers. Yeah,
that's crazy. Like, and even the Maple Street guys.
That was a good sale.
$34.6 million. Insane. I think that's. I got goosebumps thinking about it. That's a dream that we have. We literally I didn't open this business to ever sell it, but if I could grow it to scale like that and doing it with Ecuadorian food, I don't that's success to me. If you tell me, I never knew how to really gauge it, but that is true. Doing something you love and being able to scale it to a size where other people are really enjoying it too.
You guys are a couple that I feel like I need to have. Assuming this podcast thrives and it's still around, I feel like I need to have you guys back on in a year or two, because you have such an incredible story, but you really are. Who knows where you're going to go?
That's what I said. This is very interesting because we literally have.
It's a pivotal.
Nowhere.
It's a pivotal time, exactly. So, all right, and maybe we will. We might have to have a follow-up checkup episode on you guys.
We're here for it.
But we're very excited. Before I kind of go into more of the wrap-up part of the show, I know there's more lessons to come. But what are some of the lessons you would give to maybe restaurateurs, maybe not, maybe just entrepreneurial-minded people? What are some things that you would take away from what you've done so far to try to impart on others?
You go first.
Just put in the work. You have to put in the work. It's nothing gonna come like that. You just really have to grind it.
Yeah.
That's.
Trust your people. That's, I think, a general. I listen to I do listen to a lot of podcasts. I listen to a lot of entrepreneurial podcasts, and the majority of them, even when they're failing the most, they still put it all into their people. They trust their people. Let them help you, and I don't know, just cover it.
Cover your ass.
Yeah, cover your ass. I don't know the best way to say
CYA,
it.
baby.
Yeah. Because we've been taken advantage of, and it really hurts. And really, and, when you're trying to just do the right thing the whole entire time, and not screw anybody else over, not screw yourself over, and then it happens. Just keep pushing forward, and take it like a lick of salt, and just keep moving forward, and don't give up.
What would be an example of the kind of covering your ass that comes to mind?
Set yourself a budget, and give yourself some variance, so plus or minus. And usually do the conservative side of a budget. So if you can spend 30,000, say I can only spend 20.
Yeah. Or do your research.
Build a margin.
Give yourself 10 grand to say, oh, this happened. We got into a wall and it breaks. And okay, I just budgeted an extra 10 grand. We're doing that with the restaurant now. I'm when we talk about it, I have this that we already know we're going to spend. So I'm saying, okay, we have 30 grand that we can put into aesthetics and build out, right? But that still leaves us with 15 grand in working capital. So I'm leaving 15 grand as like a buffer zone just to say, okay, in case we get into a sticky situation, we have
We don't make money, we can pay
we just
our
have
employees,
this ready to go, or like, you know, if we need to add to it, we need to, you know.
I don't think your contracts are watching or listening to this podcast, so you should be saying, oh, they got a buffer.
Oh, they got it.
They got a buffer.
Yeah, they got a buffer.
That is it. It's just you know.
Look for mentorship. Look for mentorship.
Utilize people that want to help
Yes.
you.
Sounds like the owner of Cinco was one. Any other mentors you want to give a shout out to?
Azar
Mohammed
Yeah.
from TPZ.
From TPC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he's
amazing.
a senior executive chef of TPC Sawgrass, all the
the
TPCs
network.
across the world,
Yeah.
country. But he also, his wife, and then his two business partners just opened a restaurant on the beaches called The Goat.
Oh.
Great
Like
restaurant.
greatest of all time, kind of? Is that what they're called? Okay, yeah.
Exactly.
But he's an amazing businessman. Like
He's one of the
numbers,
very
everything.
few people that I've seen work harder than we do, and like keeps a smile all the time and does better. You know, like
Yeah,
he
he does
truly
amazing.
is like a machine, like,
Yeah.
but like in a good way.
Yeah.
We use him a lot. You know, if your family has experience in it, I use my mom a lot. Just saying like, hey, this is what we're thinking. What do you think? Getting an outside opinion is always a big thing.
Yeah.
And not every entrepreneur is like that. Sometimes they just get this. And laser focus is good, but you got to take other people's
Yeah.
perspective. You want to be able to gain from everybody else's
Like we
experience.
never open a restaurant, so why
Why assume you have all the
exactly.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
don't. If we did, then I would already have a restaurant in every city in the South. You know, like
Yeah.
I don't have those answers, and we're only gonna make it by allowing other people to see what we see as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You mentioned a lot of good resources. Seek a mentor, friends and family. Any other resources you would think for somebody that's trying to, maybe start up a restaurant effort?
I mean, do your research. Lawyers do help if you can afford them. We budgeted a lawyer, so it makes sense because there's a lot of.
So there's a lot of times a lawyer save you with
Yeah.
all the permits and everything.
Yeah.
So we just give him he already knows what we need.
Yeah.
So he just does the paperwork without us being like fail all the time.
For me,
Like,
it's
he
very
knows how to-
intimidating
yeah.
to-
And time is money. So
Yeah.
Time
you're
is
like, well,
money.
this, whether it's an attorney or a project manager or
Exactly.
whatever it is, you're like,
Consultant,
okay,
whatever.
they're expensive, but you know what? I'm also going to open on time, and
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to miss anything.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, because there's a lot of times, even when we were first starting Chancho King, it's very intimidating to go through all the licensing and paperwork.
And half of the time the city doesn't. Nobody knows.
Nobody
anything.
knows.
Nobody knows anything.
Or wants to give you an
ask
answer
for
to
the,
give you
you
because
ask the
they're
city.
liable.
It's like, so what do I need? Well, we don't know. I was
Yeah.
like, cool. So who do I ask?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was more, and I actually during the pandemic, I've had at least 5 to 7 friends come to me and ask me how we did it, and then they go on and start their own business. They go on and start their own,
Their
pop up or selling out of a commissary or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
for
they're
example,
how did you
like
do
the
it?
breweries had to have like food to be open, right?
Yeah.
And Chason was like, "This is gonna be a problem 2 years from now."
Yeah, I've already.
And
I
now,
called it
and
from
now
the
it's
start,
a problem.
and now it's a problem.
Say like we have a friend popping up in a brewery all the time now. His kitchen is there and everything, but he can get licensed through the brewery. What was it?
He can't get a license because it's the brewery's kitchen, but he also is the one that is only working out of the kitchen, and he wants to be
It was a
his.
food. Like at the beginning of the pandemic, it was everything like you
It's
can
a
do
very
whatever.
gray
you know?
zone,
Now
so we'd
it's
have
like,
to file for a petition to get it changed, get the law changed.
Yeah.
And until
We don't, like,
until
I
then,
love- yeah.
they're going to show up and shut him down every single time.
Yeah.
Even though he's doing everything right, like
Yeah.
to an nth degree, where even the health department is on his side.
Yeah, he's
but
like, we don't know how
by
to treat
law
it.
they
Yeah.
have to shut him down because they don't recognize what they are.
that happens to us when we were popping up a bag, and we're like, so the health inspector said, well, we don't know how to categorize you because you're in a gray zone. I was like, so that was last year. So can I be open still? She's like, well, yeah, I guess. I was like, cool.
like,
but
yeah.
now she called us. She's like, hey, well, I'm gonna shut you down. I was like, I'm out of there.
Yeah,
Like,
we were already
because
out.
the rules changed again from
Yeah.
COVID. So like,
Yeah.
They became flexible to try
Yeah.
and keep things open, and now
Yeah.
they're kind of tightening back.
yeah.
down.
So
They are
everybody's
definitely
like,
tightening back down.
every little pop up situation, they're like, well, what do we do? You
Yeah.
know, like,
Perfect timing for going into the brick and mortar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
Excellent.
It's
Perfect timing. I mean, we have the good thing with the trailer is like under our license, like we just
It's self-sufficient.
it's self-sufficient. So like we're permitted under our trailer
yeah.
because we have the trailer,
Yeah.
right? Like that's our kitchen now. That's our commissary kitchen. That's our everything, even though it's not.
You don't run the risk of some of these kind of pop up locations.
Yeah.
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 So we took that route, and it does like we've talked about, it costs you more in the beginning, but it saves you along in the long run. Just because we're not faced with that gray zone of like, hey, no, we have a trailer, we're self-sufficient, you can come and inspect this kitchen no matter what. I'm not afraid for you to show up any day.
This is our kitchen.
Yeah, this is our kitchen. And we're separate from the building.
It's a thing. Like every other month they change. We just gotta keep up.
Yeah.
Keep up with the rules.
Do your research. That's a good, like, I don't know about like if it's a resource per se, but like, go call people in the city, see who will help you.
Yeah, all the time.
Talk to the people in planning committee and stuff like that. Like I feel like y'all are out there to help us. You're there for new business owners, everything like that. So other entrepreneurs that want to do this, utilize them. Talk to those people, have them help you, because most likely they've been through it. And I'm just learning that because we're still really new into it. But I'm also less afraid to approach it now. Like when we first started, I thought everything I was doing, I didn't want to say anything because I was incriminating myself. I thought I was just going to put myself into a red flag zone or whatever. But now I'm just like, no, we just want to do the right thing, and I'm going to talk to people until they tell me that I'm doing it wrong, and learn what they learn and learn what
be
they
annoying
know.
to the city. Like,
Yeah, it's good and it's efficient.
Yeah.
Because like the quick no
and that's
is perfect. You don't want to just wonder. You want a quick no if there's going to be
and
a
that's
no.
a part of Code Ranger us. Like be like, well, I asked this person.
Yeah.
And they gave me the okay for it. Be like, oh, okay. It's like,
and at least it shows whoever is the power that be that you're doing your due diligence. They don't want to see you just fumble a bunch of answers. They want to see you say, no, I did this research. This is to my knowledge of what is right, and I move forward with it. And then they could say, oh, either you're, oh, I'm sorry, yes, you are correct, or they're going to say, oh, no, so you're wrong. You need to do it this way. And you're going to say, okay, quick pivot, boom, done, go.
Yeah.
I think that's
Pivot.
Yeah.
Well, I hope to see Chancho King in every major city in the South. First and foremost, go conquer Murray Hill, your own backyard.
100%.
Absolutely.
I hope to see it open in Murray Hill first.
Yeah. No, we definitely will. Whenever it happens, it's going to happen. It's a big uphill battle right now, just to get the proper things in place of what we need to do.
The nice thing is, once you get through this one, a lot of think about a complicated commercial property like a hotel. They're kind of high on the managerial stage. So a lot of guys that I know that own hotels, almost none of them own one. Because once you conquer the headaches of doing one, I might as well have like 10 of these things or more.
It's
once you know what to do it,
because you've kind of cracked the code, you've learned the procedure, and you're like, oh, this is not that difficult anymore. It's always the first one that's so brutal.
Yeah, and that's where you learn all your stuff.
Well, we're getting to the bottom of this beer. I feel like it's been a wonderful interview. I'm going to give you a little cheers here.
Appreciate you.
I'm going to take my swig.
Yeah.
Now, where can people find you? What's your? I know you're on social media. If you could tell everybody where people can find you.
Yeah, so we're in social media as Chancho King.
Chancho King.
Right. We are at Ardwolf from Wednesday to Sunday.
That's Ardwolf Brewery in San Marco.
100%. And we pop up every Saturday around Riverside Art Market.
Riverside Art Market.
Yep.
And what is the address of your upcoming location in Murray Hill?
1120 Edgewood Avenue South, Jacksonville, Florida, 32205.
All right, that's where you can find them. And open sometime between June and August.
Hopefully.
Follow you on social media, and you will find out exactly when it's open.
Absolutely.
Well, I really enjoyed this, and I wasn't kidding. We probably do need to have you back in the future because you're right in the middle of your trajectory curve, and I look forward to coming to your new location.
Yeah.
I've already enjoyed your current food trailer, so this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, guys. Well, I've enjoyed this interview. I hope you have too. Be sure to rate and subscribe to the podcast so we can maybe one day have a sponsor. That would be iTunes and Spotify. We're also on YouTube if you want to see how handsome this couple is. You can see our beautiful faces on our YouTube channel. We'll keep bringing you exciting entrepreneurs and great content. But for now, this is Coach Brown saying lace up and leave it all on the field. Take care.
That was awesome.
You did it.
Awesome. Thank you.